but I've been recently watching some videos on YouTube. One of which that caught my attention, which was how CIG would say we're promising to deliver this, that, and the other thing, or we're going to be adding these ships to the game. And these are things, games that have were or parts of the game that were announced as far back as 2014, and this is including ships and certain mechanics and of the game and whatever else, just a variety of different things that were announced in 2014 and others in years after that as well, but have yet to even go into production. Um, there are certain ships that they say, "Oh, we're bringing this ship out, and and we're going to try to roll it out in X amount of time." X amount of time, and there are ships that were announced in 2014 and just started production in 2024. So I kind of wanted to like riff off of you guys, like as far as John, you being a newcomer into the game in recent months. Psycho, I know you're kind of a long time player. Like, I just kind of want to riff off of you guys and see what you like. Like John, I kind of want to get your take first, since you're like kind of fresh faced into it, but you've been playing it almost every day. Uh, but you've been playing it more so than I think than any other game I've seen you play. Uh, I think the only other game I think I've seen you play this much was like Skyrim or Oblivion or anything Elder Scrolls. But so what, like, as far as what you've seen in the game so far, and I know you had a rough start because right before what's it called, CitizenCon, the game just like stopped working. We were getting 30Ks left and right. But aside from that, what is your take on the game so far?
I think I got whatever I asked for $45.
That's fair. I know that they've been pushing it more so like in advertisements, that they're doing more advertising on YouTube, from what I've seen. Like they're claiming it as an early access game now rather than just in alpha. But then when you go to boot up the launcher, it says this is an alpha status, kind of like not necessarily gray box, but I don't know. But I think, yeah, for $45, like just starting as like a pledge in the game, I think it's kind of a good like bang for your buck.
I mean, I've had this tirade before. For $45, you've got a game that is constantly progressing and with no, like, you commit your willingness to pay. How do I explain this?
By the way, the new
Corporate
microphone
promises.
sounds great, by the way.
Thank you. Corporate promises are corporate promises. I don't put much weight behind them. I would rather see what people produce. The fact that you choose to be a subscriber, you don't need to be a subscriber. You spend $45 and you have access to the entire game as it's constantly developing. I don't really have many complaints. It's not like it's like you have to. I played games where when all said and done, total investment was probably well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, because, I played Warcraft for 5 years straight.
Which actually
back
I
then
might be
you had to
getting
pay
back into soon.
You had to pay up front for the total game, and then you had to pay the subscription, and then whatever adjunct pieces that you wanted to buy along the way after they brought the store. So, I mean, in this regard, I'm not committed past, not necessarily committed. I'm not It's not mandatory for me to be committed past $45 if I don't want to be.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
And that's not, but that's also not to say that, I mean,
like, and that's another thing about like World of Warcraft. I still have my account, but I don't have I don't have the game, or I don't have anything along those lines. And I know that you can do digital downloads and whatnot, but like if I put this down, I don't come back to it for 2-3 years, I should be able to just jump on, throw my account on, and I'm back on the game without having to update anything, without having to updating my billing information or anything along those lines, just to get into the game. So that's how I feel about it. Psycho?
There was a few things that you mentioned there. Just off the back of what you were saying just a moment ago, I still find it kind of puzzling, even in today's day and age, that I can spend like $30-40 on a game, put it down for 3 or 4 years, come back, and they've still got the servers online. It's still being maintained. There's still patches. I still have like unlimited access and stuff.
That's what I mean.
To me, that seems like a really good value proposition.
That's yes.
Which, you know, which I've done with other games. In Star Citizen in particular, I only own a Titan Avenger, so I'm only in for about $60-70 or whatever, because I bought it on a deal. But I do hate the market in this game. The amount of like $1,000 for a ship and $10,000 here and $15,000 there. It's absurd. Like, it is crazy.
It is, but I agree with that.
The game. Yeah, it might sound ridiculous, but it bores me to tears, and my eyes roll straight into the back of my head when people come in here and they're like, I just swindled the system and saved $20 on a ship that doesn't exist, that I can't use yet, that probably won't work when it's released, on a game that is still in alpha, that doesn't work right now. And it's like, who are you
like
kidding?
The Perseus?
Any of it, any of the above. People come in here flexing, talking about, and I think anybody that puts any kind of the big money into it, you're crazy. I think power to you if you've got the money spare, but I think I just can't wrap my head around it personally.
I agree, but I noticed that how certain games, like because I've thought about it, I'm like, do I want to pledge like for, you know, this one ship, or, you know, this one thing? But then I look at it at how much it costs in game. I'm like, if I just grind out some missions, I can like I could have this ship in my hangar in a week.
I already got him. Can you do me a favor?
And it's not so much like I'm struggling to do these missions because they're hard. Really, the hardest workaround is the game itself, because I actually had picked up some hauling missions the other day, and I was like, you know what, let me do some hauling missions and come, like, because it was easy. It's just something to do and make some extra money. And I found a whole bunch of missions to stack that were hauling missions from Riker Spaceport to by Genie. I'm like, okay, there's like 4 missions here for that. It's an easy like 200K. And I go, I get my Starlancer Max out, and I start loading up. I go to load up the ship. I get all the ramp and the side doors open. I bring the materials up from the freight elevator, and I turn around and my ship's gone. And that's been an issue that I've been having the past few times that I've played, where I'll hop on and I'll get in my ship, and then suddenly as I'm sitting in the cockpit, the ship just disappears. I fall to the floor in my hangar, and I actually get damage from it. And I'm like, so there's little things like that that are kind of annoying. They're more so like inconveniences and bugs that you gotta kind of work around in the game. But
well, this is a little bit of a theory that I've been kind of acquiring, gathering over the past couple of days. Is I think a lot of the things that we're seeing that are happening right now with like stuff like that, like you're talking about, where we Psycho and I had a situation last night. We loaded up the thing. I landed, and as soon as I landed, my spirit disappeared. And I think that could be contributed to basically this new technology that they're working with, this server meshing, because there's always been bugs, but there's been random specific bugs that are happening that I think are from the servers not communicating well across the shards. And I don't think that they are 100% at getting them to do that. They're learning,
Yeah.
And and from what I understand, I believe they're doing this stuff in-house. So it's not like they have, a whole nother team that's doing it. That's on it 100%. It's them. So, and
Yeah.
to jump back to one of Psycho's points, I agree that the market is obnoxious, and I'm with you with the people that spend thousands of dollars for ships, but at the exact same time, it's because of those wonderful, gracious people who make poor life choices that this game does get maintained as well as it does.
I think about that, and like, compared to how the state of the game was when I first started playing in 2016. And there's been times when I take a year off, or I because I can't play it. There was a time when I think I had first upgraded my video card from like I think it was a GTX 970 to a 1660 Ti, and I was like, all right, I upgraded my video card. Let's see what this baby can do. And I booted up. I re-downloaded Star Citizen, logged into my account, and I couldn't run it. It was unplayable. And this was also with like 16 gigs of RAM, and my CPU at the time I think was not good. So I was just like, all right, put a pin in this. I'll wait till I can afford a better computer. And it's not to say like I feel like 16 gigs on this this game. I feel like it, whether it's your GPU, your CPU, or your RAM, it's like it kind of, from what I hear, it's a very CPU intensive game. But I think it's just kind of whatever is kind of tapping out, that resource pulling is kind of allocated to your RAM. Like if your GPU can't handle it, your CPU will pick up the excess, or your RAM or something. So it's like you kind of have to have, you don't need a computer from NASA like people say to run this game, but you do need a decent computer.
On a similar note, I was trying to play Tarkov earlier. They've just released a major patch. It's in 0.16 now. It's like snow and some new guns and some new gear and stuff to find. But when I play particular maps, my performance absolutely tanks. And when I check the resource manager, I'm using all 10 gig of video memory. I'm using 25 to 30 gig of RAM. And my CPU is sitting at like 20% utilization, and my graphics card is sitting at, I don't know, 5%, 10% usage or something. So there are other titles out there that have got way worse optimization and a much lesser scope as well.
That was my next question, was do you think it's just because due to like they haven't optimized those specific maps?
It's got a memory leak, 100%. It's using way too much RAM. And then when you Google it, it's been a thing for like 2 years.
Wow.
So I guess like,
and I gotta say, just to not to cut you off, but
no,
I was watching a few streams. Some players in the Discord were gracious enough to put their streams up there, and I gotta say, Tarkov is another beautiful game, very in the same vein of detail.
It's one of the best looking games.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. So when there's people out there crying, I have been thoroughly disappointed with most AAA games that have come out over the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't think there's been many that have like gotten my juices flowing Like, I'm not excited about most games that come out. You know that they're gonna just, it's corporate shit that they're just going to throw out there to cover their bottom line.
And that was the part of the responsible for the rise of the indie game and all of these indie awards that were going on.
Yeah.
People were just craving different.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
And-
noticed
and-
that AAA games are not AAA games anymore. Like,
You
just
know, and
because
it's-
it
and
has a
it's those-
AAA title.
It's those asinine demands of like, oh, this game's not finished. It's a ripoff. I'm not happy with this. That like, that's what made the AAA industry what it is, where it's like, let's, what's the term I'm looking for? Like, let's assembly line this shit and just get it out as fast as possible with all the modern shit, all the modern. And it's like, hey guys, Black Ops 155 is coming out. Woo! It's just a reskin version of the last one. Spend $80.
Yeah,
But people
I
wanna
can't stand
People want to
Call of
complain
Duty.
about this.
Yeah, the Call of Duty to me is like it's a.
But the same
cookie-cutter
people who are
game.
bitching about this not being finished are the same ones that gobble up every fucking copy of Black Ops. Just saying.
You're not wrong. There's
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think they're two completely different audiences. When people say that Call of Duty comes out every year, but like nobody's, you look at sports games, and they still release a new title. Could it not just be patched or updated to the latest season? Do we really need an entirely new title? Are they going to update the engine every year, really? But people
No, I agree
buy
with that.
NFL, NBA, FIFA, hockey, whatever it is.
I haven't kept up on sport games and sports ball. I'm not a sports fan.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
I
don't know
think the
sports either,
last
but-
sports game I played was NFL Blitz on Nintendo 64.
Nice. But they're the same games every year. But it's a refined experience. It's a niche that hits that people want, and the people that want that experience, I don't think they're playing Star Citizen. And if they do come to Star Citizen expecting they want the FPS in Star Citizen to meet the expectations of Tarkov or Call of Duty, they're disappointed.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's actually exactly what I'm saying. Is that's the audience that comes in here and is like, I want to try this. I don't like this. This is wrong. This is what this isn't. And I think those are the people that they want a specific item, a specific product that they get every year.
Well,
That's-
yeah, because different games are obviously going to play a lot differently. Like as someone who, like, I love Halo. I still play Halo as much as I can to this day. Like I enjoy Halo Infinite, but I can't stand Call of Duty, and I feel like I feel like the battle royale style of games that are coming out in recent years kind of not pigeonholed the gaming industry, but it did something to it where it kind of made things feel stagnant. And it's like, rather than actually putting out a good game, which some of them, I mean, good game is subjective, but like, rather than putting out something fresh and new, people are putting out these games that cater to those who favor this battle royale style gaming, whether it's like Fortnite or Warzone or whatever. And then they get their money off of like microtransactions and like, oh, get this. You want your character to look like this cartoon character from completely separate, fandom. Pay $20, and that's. I feel like that's kind of where like the gaming industry has gone, and it sucks.
You mean this massively exploiting, just reskinning over and over and over again, copy of a copy?
Have you got an example
Well, like
of the
Fortnite.
reskinning copy over and over?
Well, Fortnite, you they have like, on May 4th they have like the Star Wars skins that come out. They have it where like you can play as like Family Guy characters and like Futurama characters and all these different characters from all these different cartoons and stuff. And then like Call of Duty started doing that where you could get skins where you look like characters from like Diablo and Doom
Okay.
and like it's
Tony
like
Hawk's Pro Skater, you could play as Wolverine, Spider-Man, Darth Vader, Freddy versus Jason. You could skateboard as like Barney the Clown. Are they corporate shills and sellouts as well?
in a sense I would say yeah.
Yeah.
You think so? You don't just think it's a bit of fun?
I do believe that there is a level of fun to it, but when it's
When you
what
have to-
upsets you?
when
The
you
amount,
have
the
to
amount
pay-
of
when
money
you have
that's
to-
behind these transactions, or the fact that these people are in the video game?
I think
the money.
if you were able to play, like I remember
For me.
playing Soul Calibur and I could
Yeah, great game. Yeah.
like I could play as like Star Killer or Vader or Yoda in those games, and I don't recall having to like purchase different things. Like you could just unlock them. Like if
Yeah,
you could play a
same
game
with
and
the Tony
unlock it,
Hawk's example I gave. Yeah, it was either a cheat code or an achievement.
yeah. Like, but the fact, like, if I have to like shell out like more cash just to play as a different character, like I don't think that's I don't think that's fair to the player. Like you buy a game, then
Well, that's okay. Maybe allow me to wax. What is it? Wax Pro right now. Essentially, it's the pay to win, pay for skins, pay that I think is the thing that's gutting the industry. And
Okay.
I don't mind there being things that you have to unlock by skill, by hunting through,
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
don't think anybody's mad at that. What about free-to-play games?
If they're truly free to play.
Like, I think Warframe has a really good model, and I think part of their success is because they've managed to control themselves. You can buy literally whatever you want, but 90% of it is optional.
Yeah. And essentially it's very similar to Star Citizen in that regard, I think. You don't necessarily have to as a customer of it, but if you choose to, you can. Where these other games is like, oh, you want the gun that turns into a bong? It's $20. Like,
Yeah, but what benefit is the bong gun giving other than it puts a smile on the face of the consumer? If it was pay to win, like this gun does more damage or something, then I could see the point. Like the DMR back in Warzone, I don't know if you were there for that. It was crazy.
was it purchasable?
If you bought a specific pack, you could unlock it, but it was behind a set of arbitrary challenges that didn't really make much sense and didn't flow very well. Or you could just purchase a pack on the store.
Right. It's like, here's this challenge, like you said, arbitrary, didn't make a whole lot of sense. Who's really going to go do this? Or just throw the money up.
It was like $15, $20 on the store or something, and now you're just 2-tapping, 3-tapping everybody.
And of course, I'm not making a new argument, but the most egregious is the loot boxes. That's basically gambling, and you never know what you're going to get. So people just pump that button till they get what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think EA got under fire with that when Battlefront 2 first came out.
Yes.
And they shut the entire game down for a minute, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they got investigated and they got pulled in front of a court, and then they came out like a year, 2 years later and put in a different loophole to do the same thing. I mean, long story short, I want to see the problem is the capitulation of the gaming studios overall, where, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember when EA was just gobbling up, and now Microsoft is doing it too. And I don't think there's any heroes in this battle. So I'm not one to be like, hey, go Microsoft. But you know, it's sort of the monopolization of different sectors of the gaming industry that's tearing apart the gaming industry. And it's like you said, it's because of that independent gaming or independent games or indie games are becoming more prevalent, and that needs to happen. And that's the thing I want to see going forward. And I want to see these industries I want to see these production companies grow, prosper, and become the EAs. And I hope they don't suffer the same follies that EA in the previous games of, when we were younger did become, that sort of privatized corporatocracy horseshit. Thank you for my TED Talk.
I know what you're saying. Maybe controversial. I kind of want to go back in time. I miss the days of like PS2, PS3, where the new hot shit came out, and it was what we used to call a AAA title, which I don't think you can anymore. I think AAA title now is basically like, well, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but expectations are the highest for it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that
Yes,
is
no,
a
that's
AAA title is like, how high can we set expectations for this game? But
going.
go on.
But no, go ahead.
But back in the day, PS2, PS3, maybe Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield, like when we used to have the big games used to come out, and all my friends used to buy it, and that was the game, and we used to just enjoy it. And I don't know if maybe it's something that's with age or with time, but I don't want indie games. Maybe another hot opinion. I think indie games suck. I need a game with depth.
Yes.
I need a game
Yes.
that I can main it and I can put hundreds of hours into. But these indie games, they're like, I don't want an experience. I didn't like The Last of Us because it's not a game that you play. It's like you watch it and then there's these weird little gameplay interruptions in between the story. That I
Yeah,
didn't
it's like playing a movie.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You want a game that's going to come as a package, who's going to be finished, tied off with a bow.
Yeah, but these days it's like it's promises, and everything is live service game, early access, and the most popular games are the ones that with the most promises. I think anyway.
What I'm saying is that these indie producers need to get to ascend high enough to be able to create those level of games outside of the corporate shilling and the corporate weight that like Activision and they need to get up to that level where they start producing games that are like that are, a finished product with depth, with all of that, not, a simple side scroller that what was it? I enjoyed it, but basically I was watching a game. I think the game was called Inside, and it was indie horror, body horror, but I think I spent 4 hours on it.
Yeah, I think some games like that, they lose their luster really quick.
For me.
Bongo in chat actually put up a good point. Look at Helldivers at the start. Could have gone really far. If they pumped out enough content at the start of that, I would still be going in and not be dead like it is now. Yeah, Helldivers, I think, had a... I mean, people are still playing it.
Doing okay.
Yeah, but I think it had a rough start.
No, it didn't have a rough start. It was at server capacity when it came out. It was one of the most popular games in the world when it came out.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I shouldn't say anything because I never played it. I mean, I just couldn't afford it. But when they put the PSN thing on, the PSN
yeah, that
thing,
upset a lot of people for I think no good reason.
Because that's the PlayStation Network.
They get so wrapped up in that. Yeah, you had to. I think Sony bought the studio and they wanted people to have Sony accounts if they were playing the game.
Yeah,
and everyone threw their arms up.
Loads of countries.
I think people get so bent out of shape with their personal data and stuff. Like your IP address is public information. I don't think people realize that.
Most people don't understand the depth that how much of their stuff is already out there.
Right. It's you have an address and a name. It's already there.
You go to You go to a grocery store and you decide to put in your stuff for those discount codes, and now your stuff is everywhere
Yeah.
because Acme decided to sell it.
Well, I think that was a good talk. I just wanted to get that off my chest because it's like something I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast for a hot minute, and just like the state of, and it's not just gaming. It's a lot of things right now are not things whether it's like gaming or movies or music, like a lot of things in the entertainment industry I feel like have changed for the worse, and that's why I think Star Citizen is kind of a breath of fresh air because it is something pretty new. It's not like it hits all the marks that I look for in a video game, and yeah, it has its bugs, but it's not complete yet. Like if like sometimes I'll go to play like Star Wars: Old Republic or Halo
You want my
or Skyrim, and
you want my
it's
prediction?
nice. It's nice not crashing when I play those games. But yeah, let me hear your prediction.
I personally think that we're still dealing with like the reveries of the shutdown from 2020, and I think that I know it sounds crazy, but people don't realize like how deep contracts go to the point of like things are projected 4 to 5 years ahead.
Mhm.
And because there was so much of a massive shutdown in 2020, it put a lot of things on the back burner. And we're actually just getting through a lot of that stuff right now in 2024. And I think that we're going to start seeing a major turnaround coming in the next 2-3 years. So I think that things are going to improve and get better.
Yeah,
Little optimism.
I agree with that. The pandemic shut a lot of things down. I think
I mean,
a-
they're just starting to make major headway in corporations bringing people back to premises rather than working from home. So I think that in itself, we're sort of a butterfly effect.
yeah, because
Things
working
work
from
their way
home is all well
down.
and good, but being on like a Zoom call with like your coworkers and working on a game is so much more different than actually being there in office or in studio or wherever that you're working. Like looking over the shoulder of like your coworker, be like, nah, like put this here. Like I think this would work better this way. Let's try this, rather than just like, because being on a Zoom call or working or even just a phone call, like a conference call with your coworkers, it's more beneficial to obviously like physically work with
Perceived
your team.
pressure.
Yeah,
What do
but
you think, Zach? You think it's going to get better or worse?
I'm unsure. I think that the gaming industry right now is fueled by promises. And I think that expectations have been set by golden gems that we've had in the past. People that have struck gold like Skyrim or GTA. And now we look at those and we're like, why can't you just do it like that? And I think until somebody can do it again, or I don't know, sets expectations realistically, I think we're just going to just keep doing this forever. The bar's going to keep getting higher and higher and higher. We're never going to catch it. Not even technology can progress fast enough to keep up with people's expectations.
I agree with that. I think
That's valid.
I think the whole thing with like making promises is something that needs to stop. Like instead of just making promises and say you're going to do things, just do it. Like I think CD Projekt Red is a prime example.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, without like Cyberpunk was a mess when it came out, but they redeemed themselves. Now it's a great game, and it runs well, and one of the biggest things for me when it comes to like game, like I don't like graphics are a plus, yeah, but I love a good story. I love being immersed into this new world of like creating this character and going through a trial by fire, or trying to, whether I'm trying to like make my way through Night City or you know become the the best pickpocketer in Skyrim or something. Like it's like the stories are good, and I like there's this one indie game that I got into mainly because of my other stream that I go on. It's I'll admit it's a visual novel, and I've never been one for visual novels. Like I like books. I read books. Most of them are Star Wars, but I read them. But there's this one game that was like the story was. I found myself like I kept and it was an indie like thing, but it had this kind of like tech noir like cyberpunk vibe to it that like kind of kept like pulled me in at first, but what kept me into it was the story and how it progressed, it was funny, it was sad, it was like it was a whole bunch of different things, and it's little things like that that kind of give me hope. Like I regularly go on the Steam forums and check to see like if they have any updates, like because they have a chapter 2 of it or an episode 2, whatever they're calling it, coming out this year, and I'm like when's it coming out? Like I want to see what happens within the story. Wait, like it's so little things like that kind of give me faith. Like I love a good story. You can have, like I said, and that's the thing. It's a visual novel, but it has cutscenes that are fully animated and voice actors and stuff, and it's good. But I have faith in Star Citizen because of how much it has progressed in recent years compared to before, and I think it's going to work out. I think eventually, probably, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think they will. I think they kind of may have shot themselves in the foot by promising Squadron 42 coming out in 2026, but because with how things go and how much they're already promising, they have like 4.0, they promised certain things, and we may not get those things until like 4.x, or 4.0.1. And like I think the reason they pushed 4.0 as a preview server was because they have these people who are they have investors that they have to like make these promises, and they're like, hey, technically we released 4.0 before
throw my
the end of 2042. Yeah, absolutely.
As long as things progressively keep improving, I'm going to keep playing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't care about their promises. I don't listen to their promises. The moment it stays like stale for 6 months, then I'm out. If it's the same, if the bugs don't improve, if things don't improve, if the servers don't improve, and it's just the same headaches, then eventually I'm going to get bored of it, and then I'm going to move on. But currently, as long as it keeps going, as long as it keeps getting better, and there's new shit for me to find and more things for me to be curious about, I'm going to keep playing. I don't care about the next big ship. I don't care about the science or that's all bonus to me personally. I'm kind of happy with the structure it is now. I want it to work better. I want it to be more consistent. Yeah, I don't really care past that.
I concur. Psycho, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, there was, but it's totally just fell out the other side of my head.
It'll come back to you.
I am waiting for the next feature that they like, sort of like what John said. I watched CitizenCon, and it just pissed me off because it was just more of the same. They're like, look at what we might do in 5 years' time, and then they're ripping stuff out of 4.0 to make sure that works, to get it rushed out on time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll wait for a patch to come out, and then I'll jump in Arena Commander. I'll read, Urkel and these other data sites and stuff, and I'll try to get my head around it. But things like the insurance mechanic and other stuff, I'm waiting. One day I'm going to log in, maybe, and it's going to be my master modes. Let's say it like that. One day I'm going to log in and I'm going to be like, they did fucking what? And when that day comes, I'm gonna wash my hands of it. Probably that's what I'm expecting. One day when they add in like I think I've said this before. They keep expanding the most arbitrary features. Like when they increased FPS gameplay, they added like broken legs and hemorrhaging and concussions and all this other weird stuff. And now it takes longer to get dressed with the gear tray, and like they want to make quantum traveling into a game, so traveling to places now requires input and stuff. And then soon we're going to need to go to the toilet and shower, and it's like, can I just have some more bounties? Like, can I have some more in-game mechanics? Have you ever used an oxy cutter before?
Never.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm waiting for. One day there's going to be a feature, and I'm just going to be like, you know what, guys, I'm out. I can't put up with this anymore. But so far, it's not like John says. I think it's going in the right direction, and they're really speeding up ever since they got this new manager in. I don't know what his name is, the new director. I don't know what he's feeding them over there.
Yeah, I agree. When it's necessary that I have to stop the middle of a bounty to take a shit, I might be done.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Like, oh wait, hold on, guys.
Hold on, guys.
Pull over.
Hold that thought. I'm turtle heading.
Like, yeah, I know they're going for immersiveness, and like I don't mind, that I have to
That's
like
a level of
hydrate or
immersion
like
is
eat.
unnecessary.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my health is deteriorating because I haven't showered in a week. It's like, hold on, hold on, guys, I gotta use the restroom. And you just see like someone's pants, like their leg armor box just sitting in front of the bathroom.
Matter of fact, now that we're on the subject, to be perfectly honest with you, if they optimize going to the bathroom before they make escape pods functional, that might be the straw that.
Yeah. I remember,
if I can shit before I can escape an exploding ship.
Yeah. Bongo in chat.
You heard it here, January 1st.
Bongo in chat says, going for a shit after eating a rat in Pyro, 5 minutes wait time.
Honestly, that's where it's going to be. And a hot take, like I thought engineering was kind of dumb. Like I don't want engineering. There's a bunch of players out there that I think that, I don't know how to say this nicely, so I'm not going to say it nicely. There are idiots that play this game that are ruining it for the rest of us that have brains. The people that boot the game up and have fun walking to the ASOP terminal and drinking a bottle of water and standing in the elevator and then playing with their little engineer terminal and then playing dress up and then going to the bathroom and then loading 6 useless vehicles into the back of their massive ship that they paid $2,000 for. Like, this is all superfluous and gets us nowhere.
You're not wrong.
That's
Also,
It drives me insane.
Bongo says, also more effort put into the noodle animation than anything else in game.
Yeah, it's that noodle animation, yeah.
But it looks
really
so good.
It does look good.
But
yeah, engineering is definitely one of those. And as soon as I saw it, when I saw that was eventually going to be an option, my brain was just like, so wait, you're telling me like in the middle of a fight or being attacked, I might have to like run to the back and sort shit out? Are you kidding me?
I know it's gash.
On capital ships, I get it. Like, there's no reason we needed
No.
There's
no reason for it.
There's no reason to have an engineering terminal on an Intrepid. I will say that. There's no reason for that. The Intrepid did not need an engineering terminal. I can go on Star Wars: The Old Republic and my ship has like,
but you can currently change the power and things
network terminal on it.
On the MFDs, why would I need to get up to reroute power like in a mini game while being under fire? Like, no.
That's my issue. Well, like you're all crewed up in a Polaris, and it's like, hey guys, can somebody go down to the bottom? We've used the quantum drive 5 times, so now we all have to sit around and do this stupid mini game to fix it up. But we're just adding extra steps to, frankly, shit steps.
I think what needs to be done is they need to focus on if they want.
Being able to pull a fuse mid quantum, that's hilarious. That's fun. That's cool.
That's fine.
Sneak onto a ship. You know what?
I'm okay with John fucking around with my ship while I fly it. I'm totally okay with that.
Do you know what I want? I want to be able to ship log on your ship.
Yeah.
That I agree with too.
And
if you don't log in when I log back in and it just ports me back to the closest station, I'll live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But if we both log in at the same time, we should both wake up on the same ship.
Yeah.
I think one of the things they really need, if they want immersiveness, they need to get this shit done with the fire extinguishers. And
no, fuck that too. You keep talking about that fire and fire extinguisher shit. Fuck that too.
A little bit.
No.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
I don't want to have to get up from my pilot's chair to go put out a fire while I'm under fire.
On a multi-crew ship, I think it's acceptable.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. If you're on like the Javelin or the Bengal or one of these big ass ships, then yeah, fine.
Like having it on like a Cutlass is a bit of a stretch. If you got like, pilot, co-pilot, gunner, it's still a small ship. You don't really, but things like, on a larger ship, like a multi-crew ship where you have like a minimum of like 8, 10, 12 people on the ship, then you need someone to put out
auto
those
death
fires.
button behind a combination.
That would be good too.
Move the ship power away from the weapons power.
Yeah. Instead of hitting your,
get that straight before engineering, please.
Instead of hitting your displays, don't put the power the off switch for the entire ship next to the displays. Like Bongo says, like honest, I just want to be the game. I just want it to be the like all honest, I just want to be the game. I just want the game to be at a point where I can build a base with the boys, make weapons and ships, specialize in it, etc. I need a jungle base on a planet.
Like you can have a snow base.
Yeah, I want
the base building. I do find interesting. I will say that's, but I don't. Again, when that comes, it comes. When we're there, we're there. When we cross that bridge, we'll cross that bridge. But currently, I don't. I just sort out the problems that you have. Make it so that those problems don't carry over to the next update or whatever the hell that you do or whatever patch. Focus on that shit, and then we'll talk about promises later. I mean, the citizen cons and all those things, they are literally investor events that just try to draw in cash so that they can keep doing what they're doing. Yeah. I have no is that the right term? Reservations to what those things are, but I don't need them. I don't care about that. And again, I just reiterate my point. Once I'm bored with it, I'm bored with it. I'm going to move on.
I agree. They need to fix it first.
Triggering the dopamine
more.
So, in the meantime, can we answer the real question? The most important question? The fuck are we doing tonight?
We're doing some salvaging. Let's go. Let's get into it.